that would be quite tough to bowl at, but now with the shorter boundary, Richie Barrington is trying to make use of that. But now they've got the boundary early on in over and see if how they go about the wrist shot.
That's going to be cut off by the fielder down there, just the single. It's the first time we've seen Simi Singh. Sorry, Peter, it's the first time we've seen Simi Singh in this series. He came in for Jacob Mulder as a replacement, but it's the first chance to play in this tri-series. He scored 3, came in late in the Ireland innings. That's gone as well. Singh is getting the treatment, unfortunately. 2 big 6s in this over, and Scotland now starting to open up the shoulders and increase the run rate.
Yeah, Richie Barrington is looking to be the aggressor in this partnership, and Cross is looking just to accumulate the runs. And as I just said, Richie is looking in very good touch and hitting the ball quite nicely.
Scored 27 not out against you the other day. That's attempted reverse. Back to the bowler. At least it's from Ireland's point of view, that's a dot ball.
Well, that's what you always want. You always want a couple of dots in it over to see if you can build some pressure. But with those 2 6s, Scotland have pretty much won this over. But I think Richie's trying to look for another boundary here.
And he's cracked it straight down the ground. And that's exactly what he's got. And that's a big over from Scotland. Simi Singh in and out, I'd say. And at the end of 10 overs, they're 96 for 2 now. Barrington on to 44. Cross is on 28. If you want a comparison with that, Peter, Ireland at the end of 10 were 114 for 2, but they kind of lost their way after that in the second part of their innings.
Yeah, definitely. That last, what was it, seven overs, I think. Yeah, it wasn't great from an Irish perspective. But I would say that Scotland now is really turning it on and looking to I think get ahead of the game in these next few overs. I'm actually been quite impressed with Delaney, because I think his pace today has been a little bit sharper than what I've seen during this week. And that first spell he bowled was very quick, and I think Gary Wilson now brings him on because the Irish are desperate for a wicket.
Apologies, we've had 1 or 2 problems with the internet here at Malahide. We don't have a scoreboard to show you, but we'll keep it up to date for you. Ireland and Scotland in this GS Holding T20I tri-series. 10 overs down. They need 91 runs for victory, so just over 9 runs and over. Very gettable with 8 wickets in hand. Mark Adair is going to come on now from the Dublin road end. George Munsey out for 6, caught Tucker, bowled Adair. Michael Leask, second man to fall. Lovely catch from Balbirnie. He was hit hard straight at him, clung on very well after the bowling of David Delaney for 7. They're the 2 to fall. It fell at 36. And they've added 60 for this. The third wicket.
Side there. Just looks to be in a little bit of discomfort.
Yes, David Delaney bowling from the Dublin road end, changing ends from the Malahide Castle end. We got our graphics sorted out. And that is the score you're seeing there. 97 for 2, make that 98 for 2 now. Barrington on 44. The aggressor in this partnership with Matt Cross opening the batting today in the absence of Kyle Kurtzer.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Irish are desperate for a wicket here. They need to put some kind of pressure back on the Scottish batters. And I think this is the over that's hopefully for the Irish to change the game around. It's a great shot.
That's a lovely shot, is right. It beats Simi Singh at backward point and rolls all the way to the boundary. Lovely shot from Matt Cross. He's been watching it at the other end while Barrington has been plundering the bowling in the last couple of overs, but that was a lovely shot.
Yeah, that shot oozes class, as they say. I think that was a very nice shot, and as I think has been the trend, once you start overhitting the ball hasn't been going to the boundary as much.
That's a better ball, better length.
Yeah, he looks to be in considerable pain on his side.
Yeah, he's struggling a bit out there.
Yeah.
All right, David Delaney. We did see an injury yesterday to Ali Evans. He got a shoulder injury. A Scottish bowler, so he's not playing today. Kyle Kurtzer, the other omission from the Scottish starting 11. Delaney just needs to get through this over now. He looks in considerable pain out there. Let's paddle around the corner. That won't be cut off by Andy Balbirnie. And Scotland just starting to ease closer to the target. 89 now needed.
Yeah, second boundary of the over. Again, Matthew Cross just helping this ball on his way to fine leg.
Correction, it's 81 now needed. 102 for 2, past the 100 mark with that 4. It's a good stop by Delaney. Stretches out his left hand and at least prevented the single and a dot ball. So 102 for 2 after 11 overs. 81 runs required off 9 overs. Cross on 28, Barrington on 45. Scotland, you would think at this stage, with the wickets in hand, are favourites now to go on and take the victory.
Yeah, they poised themselves very well at the halfway mark here, and pretty much on this ground and on the wickets we've been playing on 81 of the last 10 should pretty much be a walk in the park, really.
Yeah, it's about pacing your reply, isn't it? I thought your side paced themselves very well to beat Ireland the other day. You got us to 19.1 overs. Ben Cooper, a terrific 90-plus innings as well. But it's the pacing of it. Even in a T20 game, you don't need to be frantic. You can just pace your reply well, and you can get there in the end. I thought you bowled and batted very well in that particular game. Ireland had got off to a good start there. They were 110 for 2, I think, and they only scored 71 runs in the second 10. And rather similar to today, Ireland just were pegged back in the second part of their innings. Stockrell to continue from the Malahide Castle end. Simi Singh, though, backward point. Another dot ball. Wherever we are across the world, watching us here in the sunny Malahide, the last game of the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series. Ireland against Scotland, winner takes all.
Very good start to the over by George Dockrell. I think Barrington is going to try and see if he can score a boundary probably in the next 2 deliveries or so.
That's cracked away through the covers. Orkin Tucker out there, good arm. As Peter's been alluding to, Ireland's fielding's been pretty good out there. Just the 1 run from this over so far, that's good.
Yeah, but it's all about how he's going to finish this off now. 3 balls to go.
Took 3 for the other day, George Dockrell. He just stops his run up as an adjustment was being made in the field while he was actually in the art of running past umpire Neil. Short fine leg is in. David Delaney's there. A short third man, backward point. Straight at Kevin O'Brien. This is a good over from George Dockrell. Now needs to finish it.
Yeah, and you can see a little bit of frustration here with Matthew Cross. But it's all about how George is going to finish this over off.
This cries a catch it, and they won't catch that. Well, he'd bowled 4 terrific deliveries. Just a little loose, that one, and that's whipped around the corner and down to the man that fine leg, or whitish fine leg. Couldn't cut that off, and that's gone for another maximum. Big 6, and in the context of the over, in the context of the game, that's a big shot from Scotland. Dockrell needs to finish this over off. They're going to get a single, and Cross is going to keep the strike for the 13th over. 12 down, 114 now for 2. It was a shame from Ireland's point of view. 8 runs off it. That's just pretty much on the money in terms of what they're looking for in run rate. But he bowled really well, except for that loose delivery and the 5th ball of the over.
Yeah, it's obviously very tough in 2020 because the batsman is obviously also lining the bowler up a little bit, where Matthew Cross walked across the stumps and just helped it with the wind towards the square leg boundary. But one thing Ireland desperately still need is that wicket to really break that momentum and see if they can get possibly two new guys in.
Returning Markadare from the Dublin Road end. Opened the bowling for Ireland. And he's got 1 wicket to his credit. George Munsey gone for 6. Caught by Lorcan Tucker. And the score was just on 13. Oh, and it's cut away. And shy of the stumps, just misses. That's all going on out there. That's Craig Young down there at shortest third man. He thought that looked close enough. In fairness, Young had his head in his hands as the ball passed by the stumps. So it might have been tight for Barrington running to that end.
Well bowled.
It is well bowled. 72 required now. 115 for 2.
Very good change of pace there by Markadare. Very, very cleverly bowled. As we've seen, is that Richie Barrington is really trying to put the bowlers under pressure early on in the over, and he's not getting it this time. But I've got a feeling there's another big shot along the way because he's hitting with the wind, so he's definitely looking to hit it down the ground.
And he switched it away through mid wicket. Just the one. But with them just needing 9-ish, 9.5 and over, a big shot, just one big shot on the over keeps that over rate or run rate ticking over, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially with 2020 nowadays, if you're only chasing really like 9s or 10s and over, you're pretty much only one big over away to really get ahead of that rate. And we've pretty much seen a boundary and over by the Scottish sides, which makes sure they still in control of this chase, and obviously only 2 down with 7.5 overs to go. They look very well set to chase this total down.
Bottom line, we've been saying it now for a couple of overs. Ireland needs to take a couple of wickets, need to get rid of this partnership. They've taken it on from 36 for 2 to 116 for 2. Slower ball from Adair and another dot ball. It's a good over so far from Adair, but we've seen it in the previous over. George Dockrell also bowled well at the start of his over. But a big 6 from Matthew Cross ruined his figures. And this is again will be the intention of Cross at the Malahide Castle end of the ground.
Yeah, Markadare just changing his field. He had also backward point back and then bowled that wide sort of Yorker and now push square leg back. And having middle up now, fine leg drops back, which will mean he will bowl it into the deck to make sure that Cross would hit it to the leg side.
He's just got the 2 fielders out on the leg side here. Lorcan Tucker in mid wicket. In fact, 3 in the leg side. My apologies. It's nicely pushed into backward point. Simi Singh does the fielding, but it's just 1 to the total. So just 3 off the over. Good stuff from Adair so far. I'll just finish it off from Ireland's point of view, and if he can restrict it and not concede a boundary, that'll be good from Ireland's.
Yeah, this is the ball, that last ball, the over. Barrington will be looking for a boundary there for that wicket.
That's bowled right up on the slot. That's nicely done. They might come back for the second here. No, they're not going to chance the arm of Lorcan Tucker. He's got a good arm. That's good fielding. That's a very good over from Mark Adair. Just the 4 from it. 118 for 2 now at the end of 13.
Yes, again, very impressive fielding here by Lorcan Tucker. The Irish have been very, very good. And it's surely giving them a chance to defend the score. But something really needs to happen for Ireland, I think. George Dockrell is continuing, and I think either Richie Barrington or Cross will be looking down that leg side, hitting with the breeze to the shore boundary. See if they can get that boundary early on in the over. I think Richie, definitely Richie will be looking this first or second ball for a boundary, and I think that's where Dockrell can really get his chance to get that wicket they desperately need. But a few of these more overs, see if they can get the run rate up a little bit.
Barrington on 48, Cross on 45, working well in tandem here. 118 for 2. Just be the single.
Richie just a little bit guilty of trying to hit the ball too hard. He was timing him so nicely, but I think in the last 2 overs he's a little bit wayward. Doesn't hold his shape as nice as what he did at the start. And I think Dockrell fancies his chances here. He's put the man really square at square leg. Pretty much a fine leg, really.
Cross had given a lot of the batting to Barrington. That's going to be cut off as well. Just another single.
Great placement.
Straight to him. And when it goes straight to you like that, it is good placement. Up over 10 and over now required. Flatter delivery, that's in the air, and that's going to go sailing for 6. And just that flat delivery from George Dockrell just offered too much to the batsman, and he punished him.
And that's Barrington's 50. 55 of 29. Great innings. He's, as captain, really taking that responsibility, coming in at 4, and really plays a gem of an innings. How good has the Irish weather been in the last couple of days?
Amazing, yeah. The first match unfortunately called off, Ireland against the Netherlands, but then we got a bit of a delayed start for the second game, but it's been an Indian summer, fantastic weather this week, and it's just perfect timing from the gods to get us through to where we are now in this Tri-Nations decider. And it just shows you in the over, been good from Dockrell, just a couple of singles in it, but then you get a shot like that from Barrington where he hikes it into the mid-wicket boundary for 6, and it's a shorter boundary down there as well. A lot easier to score down there as well, so that does help. They went over to 10 and over for a ball or two. Now it's down to about 9.5. So the big shots in the over, the one that really pushes you towards the target.
Yeah, and with it early barley, they control the over rather than the bowler. Oh.
He's going to do him again. This time it's Cross, and that's the big over from Scotland.
Yeah, and Matthew Cross also reaching 50. Very good innings. Taking over the opening spot from Carl Kutzer and really makes it count. 42 balls. 42 balls, sorry.
Good stuff from Cross. Barrington getting to his half century quicker, but Cross was there working in tandem with him, and both gone past their half century, and Scotland now very much looking the favourites to win this match. If Ireland can wheedle out a couple of wickets, it would change things, but at the moment, the way things are going and the way these two are batting, it's certainly Scotland favourites. Much fuller delivery. He got through the shot early. End of 14 overs. It's Scotland on 133 for 2. Well, my thanks to Pieter Seelaar, and that's the way we stand. And Scotland needs 61 runs for victory in this Tri-Series game to take not just the victory in this match, but to take the series as well. They're 133 for 2 to take you through to the conclusion of the match. It will be Andrew Leonard and Garfield Harrison.
Thank you, JK, and yeah, just like to echo your thoughts. Brilliant to hear from Pieter Seelaar, and we really appreciate him coming up here on what should have been his day off. And Garfield, You might think advantage Scotland, but it's still 9 runs needed and over. And how crucial an over is this one going to be for Ireland from young David Delaney? They need the breakthrough.
Need a breakthrough, and they need a breakthrough fast. Matthew Cross and Richie Barrington have batted beautifully, and it's amazing every time they've went to hit for a 6, it's gone for 6. They haven't made a mistake yet.
Beats him outside the off stump. Early well bowled. 2 impressive innings though, Garfield, you feel, from Matthew Cross and Richie Barrington as the standing captain today?
They really haven't put a foot wrong, Ireland, they haven't given Ireland any chances really that you can look at and say, oh, well, they would have caught that or whatever. They've had a wee bit of luck earlier on with a few inside edges, or what we would call a Chinese cut. There was 3 of those that went for each one of them went for a boundary, so there was 12 runs there that maybe we can complain about. But
Yorker again from Delaney. He's really shown his potential in the green of Ireland today, hasn't he?
Well, so far today, he's been Ireland's best bowler, and this is his last over. Unfortunately, he only got 4 deliveries left. He's just gone for 18 runs. So he's putting the pressure on the other bowlers as well, because definitely he's put his hand up as one for the future for this Irish team.
Change of pace this time, hit into the leg side. Going to be more work for Lorcan Tucker. We spoke about his outstanding foot speed to the ball. He's cut off 1 or 2 in the deep, but there was always going to be 2 runs there.
Yeah, it's comfortable too. Placed nicely there in the gap by Barrington. And I mean, they're in total control, the 2 batters. They really are seeing the ball very well. Pitch is playing lovely. The ball is coming onto the bat nicely. Ireland are really up against it now, and need something special here from David Delaney.
Brilliant from Delaney. Finds the block hole again, and the crucial thing about the way he's found the block hole, he's found it wide outside the off stump, Garfield, so he hasn't allowed the batsman to get anything on it. 3 dots in this over.
Yes, he's pulling the initiative back for Ireland with this over. Only 2 deliveries to go. Unfortunately, this will be his last over, so he'll have, no matter what happens in the game, he'll have gone off the field today with his head held high.
Oh, and we spoke about those inside edges beating Gary Wilson's left. I think that's the 4th one on my count, and every single one of them has gone to the boundary. Misfortune again for Delaney. That's not what he deserved.
Yeah, again, fortunate here for the Scottish batters. On another day that hits middle stump. He's dragging that on and hits middle stump. But the Chinese cut today has proved very productive for the Scottish batters.
Yeah, that's the first one for Barrington, in fairness to him, but Matthew Cross has certainly had 3. So 4 inside edges just missing either side of the stumps, 2 missing the leg stump, 2 missing the off, all going for boundaries. Really well bowled, puds into the pad of Richie Barrington. Was clearly going down the leg side. We'll see a leg bye signalled. 7 runs coming from it. A really good spell of bowling from David Delaney. He's going to finish with 4 overs, 1 for 24.
Great spell from David Delaney. Definitely the Irish bowler of the day, no question about that. And really has excelled here, and a very exciting future for this Ireland cricket team with David Delaney about. And just a wee bit more luck, and we would have maybe he would have had another 1 or 2 wickets there. But still the game, it's not over. But Ireland need a breakthrough very quickly.
And you could see the ovation that he got from the home crowd shows that he's a player of real excitement for this Irish team. We were talking a little while earlier when we were off air about, is he possibly the fastest bowler in the last 20 or 30 years from an Irish perspective? We spoke about the likes of Owen Butler, maybe Ryan Eagleson before his injuries. He was a tear away quick. Maybe Adrian McCroubry, but is he the most exciting you can remember?
He certainly is. Definitely, I don't remember anyone any quicker than that spell that we've just seen from David Delaney. And I'm sure Graham Ford, the Irish coach, will be licking his lips. We've got to remember too, Andrew, this is a young bowling attack today. You've you've no Boyd Rankin in the attack today, who really is the is the main quick bowler for Ireland and has been for many years. So Boyd is to come back into this team as well. So it's all augurs well for the UAE in a few weeks' time. And I'm not being too critical with these guys because it's a young side and they're learning as they go along.
That's the bowling figures so far. Just the solitary over for Gareth Delaney, perhaps surprisingly. Also just the solitary over for Simi Singh. And believe it or not, Gary Wilson's now going to turn to his 7th bowler of the afternoon because Shane Getgate's going to come into the attack from the Malahide Castle end. Is this a surprise for you?
Well, again, I think, looking at the bigger picture, Graham Ford will be wanting to see who's going to get on that plane. But, look, 5 overs to go, 47 needed. Still a lot of batting still to be done.
And it's a slightly nervous looking Ross McCollum, the Cricket Ireland chairman, and Warren Dootram, the Cricket Ireland chief executive. In the background there you can see on your screen, Shane Getgate's going to come around the wicket and try and bowl outside off and hide it away outside off to protect that short boundary. Slapped into the deep where Lorcan Tucker is at deep cover. Interesting field set. A deep backward point on the rope, a deep cover, long off, long on, and deep mid-wicket. Both third man and fine leg in the circle.
Yes, well, obviously they've been working very hard on Shane Getgate here and the line that he's bowling going round the wicket.
Cross tries to heave that one to the short boundary into the leg side, but skews off the inside edge for just a single. All of a sudden, that required run rate coming into play. Don't forget about the super over, Garfield. We could have a super over yet.
We would love a super over, Andrew. I must say, I've only seen a few super overs in my lifetime, but it's certainly great entertainment. But good start here from Shane Getgate. He bowls at a pace where the batter has to take the initiative, with him bowling round the wicket and then mixing it up, he'll bowl a few slower balls as well here. I'm quite sure. Gets the batsman thinking. The batsman doesn't know what's coming, and that's the secret really to being a good bowler in this format.
Interestingly, Shane Getgate just going to George Dockrell at long off to have a bit of a chat. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. Perhaps Dockrell has spotted something to pass on to Getgate. Getgate flat and wide outside the off stump. That's an outstanding shot. He's got it over the man at extra cover, Kevin O'Brien, who's right on the edge of the 30-yard circle. It turned out to be a low full toss. The form that Barrington's in, he's too good for that. What a shot that is.
Well, again, Shane just slightly overcorrected there. Too full, low full toss with a wee bit of width for a batsman like Barrington on 67. That's meat and drink. And but still not. He's bowled 3 balls, gone for 6 runs. Gary Wilson standing up to the stumps went and had a word with him there. So hopefully they have a different plan for this delivery.
Pressure on Getgate, 41 to win. Pulled into the deep towards a short boundary. What a shot from the stand-in Scottish skipper. Richie Barrington has pulled that one away into the deep. This gamble of going to Shane Getgate, it's not paying off right now for Ireland.
Well, first it just shows you in this game, first 2 deliveries of Shane's over. Great, only 2 runs off it, and then the next 2 deliveries gone for 10, a 6 and a 4. And yet again, Richie Barrington goes to clear the ropes and does it comfortably. Goes out of the ground. Amazing piece of hitting.
You can see the body language there. Gary Wilson behind the stumps. He's really displeased. Arms crossed. Legs folded. Or legs crossed, arms folded even. And Getgate, I wonder will he now look to come over the wicket? Again, a slight hold up in play. I think the umpires are just checking that the ball didn't have any damage from being hammered into the deep. Real pressure on Shane Getgate. Remember, this isn't the Irish T20 World Cup qualifier squad. This is just for the Tri-Series. There's places being played for, as well as the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series title. Really good take from Gary Wilson. Alan Neil has a long, hard think about it, signals it wide. Getgate protests, but that's not going to matter. Another run to the total.
Yes, I think Alan Neil's got this right. Although the batter has moved right across, Barrington moved right across outside off stump. That's a cruel game if you're a bowler here, isn't it? Like, even the batter, he's moving about all the place. You're trying to follow him and you're wighted for it.
hammered down the ground towards George Dockrell. That low full toss will just be a single. Throw comes in to Wilson, but already we've seen 14 runs come off this over, still a delivery to go, and that's brought that required run rate to a much more manageable level for Scotland, who still have 8 wickets in hand.
That's the key, Andrew. You know, the 8 wickets in hand, 8 and overs in the context of this game today is easy. It's the wickets.
And what was a difficult over finishes with a dot, and Matthew Cross, even though he's batted well, he hasn't been hitting them in the way that Richie Barrington's been hitting them. End of the 16th over is 154 for 2. That's Matthew Cross and Richie Barrington tapping gloves, as this partnership has been an outstanding one. They came together at just 36 for 2, the partnership worth 118 now. And it has to be said, Garfield Harrison, it's turned the game on its head. It looks like Scotland are going to go on and take the title here.
Well, this is, it's a tremendous partnership here for Scotland, and one thing that we didn't do in the Irish innings is we didn't push on. We had none of our top 4 batters in the last 5 overs, and that could be one of the reasons why the scoring stalled.
Craig Young back into the attack from the Dublin Road end. This is a really important over. It's his final one. I just wonder who Gary Wilson's going to go to from the far end. Will he go back to George Dockrell perhaps?
Well, George has bowled reasonably well, but he dropped a couple short there and paid the penalty. And, I said it earlier on in commentary, Andrew, the one thing that you can't do on this pitch is drop it short. Not timed again by Cross. He hasn't looked fluent, but he's battled through. Moves to 54 off 46 deliveries, but it's been Barrington's innings that has really changed this match. Remember, he's the stand-in captain today in place of Kyle Coates. Coates struggling with a finger injury. You kind of feel like the Scots had a score to settle after earlier in the week. Yeah, I mean, he's been superb today, and really, he took the initiative away from Ireland with the Simi Singh over where it went for 18. Hit into the leg side. All 4 fielders on the leg side are on the fence. That's fine leg. Deep backward square leg, an old-fashioned cow corner and a wide long on. Just the one man in the deep on the offside. That's deep cover, which means third man is up in the circle, but good bowling from Young. Yes, again, a good start here from Craig Young. His first 3 balls have been right on the money, and he needs to now finish it off. There's no margin for error out there, and he'll know that by now, so he just has to finish this over off with maybe 3 singles would be great for Ireland. Hit into the leg side, but straight to the man at fine leg again. Singles are okay for Ireland. Can they get out of this with just 2 more singles and take the game deep? If Ireland are going to get out of this, Andrew, they need 2 wickets very, very quickly. Both Barrington and Cross back in the hutch, and really the way the 2 guys have batted so far today, they haven't put a foot wrong, and there's nothing to suggest that they're going to mess it up from here. Slower ball hammered into the deep. Lorcan Tucker's at cow corner, and that is one of the 2 wickets that Garfield Harrison was just talking about. He took a brilliant catch earlier. This one was easier for Tucker, but he judged it well. The change of pace from Young gets the wicket, and it's the big one because Richie Barrington falls slog sweeping for 76. Big wicket this for Ireland. It brings them back into the game. There's no doubt about that. And if we can get rid of Cross as well now, then we'll have 2 new batters in on 0 or very low score. So, it's that's opened up one end now, and hopefully Ireland can capitalise on that. But a great catch there as well by Tucker. Yeah, Lorcan Tucker took that reverse hands, but there's a big ovation, not just from his Scottish teammates, but also this ever-growing home crowd. They acknowledge that was an outstanding knock from Richie Barrington. 76 from 43 deliveries, 7 4s and 5 6s. He's put them within touching distance, but he couldn't finish off the job. Will there be just a few wobbles late in this game? Still about 9 and over needed, Garfield. Yes, and I mean, Ireland will be hoping that the incoming batters will struggle a wee bit to find the pace of the game, and it's big. It's a big 3 overs now coming up for Ireland. Very, very simple solution here. Get Matthew Cross off strike and get the new batter on strike.
I think Gary Wilson will be happy as well, though, that it was Barrington, the wicket that fell, because he was looking so destructive. Cross hasn't found his rhythm at all, only going around to run a ball.
Yeah, but he's held up an end, Andrew, and he's allowed the other end to flourish.
McLeod on strike, short ball, good aggression. You asked for 2 wickets to end the over. You've got a wicket and a dot, Garfield. 29 to win of 18 deliveries. The balance changes again.
Absolutely. What a lovely delivery there from Craig Young, and a really good finish from him. And he's bowled his 4 overs there, 1 for 29. That's a good effort on this pitch, and just shows you again the confidence.
Yeah, absolutely, Garfield. Let's take a look at the batting card so far. It's been dominated by Richie Barrington and Matthew Cross. Single-figure scores for George Munsey, but he's been the star of the show this week in many ways. Michael Leask falling for 7. A couple of big hitters to come. We'll probably see Oliver Hares in next, and then Craig Wallace at 7. But I just have a feeling we're in for 15 minutes of real entertainment here. Any one of 3 results possible. Scotland or Ireland winning, or are we going to see the tie to send us to a super over? I wondered, would it be George Dockrell to bowl from the Malahide Castle end? It will. I think that's the right choice.
I do actually think it's the right choice, as long as George doesn't drop it short. If he's going to err in his length, bowl it too full rather than too short. But when if we keep this next ball to single, that's good for Ireland.
And that's just going to be a single. Cross really hasn't found the middle of the bat. Remember, 3 of those boundaries he's hit today have come off the inside edge, running away past the keeper for 4. So pressure on Callum McLeod. He's only faced 1 delivery so far. Nearly 10 and over required now.
Yeah, Callum McLeod is absolutely no mug with the bat at all. Very talented cricketer, but even he will be feeling that this is a game on, and if Ireland bowl properly here now in this over, George Dockrell, it's George's last over, unfortunately, but please don't drop 1 short, George.
28 to win off 17, the equation. Slog swept. There is a fielder out there, and he's cut that off nicely. Gareth Delaney keeps it to just a single. It is a bit of a risk, though, bowling the spinner with the short boundary the far side for the 2 right-handers to hit into the leg side for.
Well, again, if you stray there on leg stump, that's there's always a danger, and really that's the first ball of this spell that he's done that.
Wide outside the off stump, hidden away, and Dockrell looks back at Alan Neil, and he can't quite believe that's been signalled wide. It was hovering right around that guideline. You can see the blue colour on your screen. It was wide of that. Cross pulls his bat away. Good piece of umpiring.
Alan Neil's got that absolutely right. That's a wide delivery, and what you can see what George Dockrell is trying to do there. He's trying to bowl it full on the off stump and outside the off stump, which means takes the leg side boundary, short leg side boundary out of play if that's where he can land it.
What a finish we have in store to this GS Holding T20I Tri-Series. 26 to win. 16 deliveries remain as 2 huge, beautiful swans fly above and hold up play briefly. Hit down the ground. Not exactly where Cross was intending. He just hasn't found his timing today, Cross.
No, but he's held an end up, and in a run chase, that's always good. To do that, and I mean he hasn't been, he's going at over a run of ball, which is grand, but he'll need to now push on.
And that's very unfortunate for George Dockrell. It was wide outside the off stump. McLeod was looking to hammer it over, extra cover. It comes off the outside edge. Third man is in the circle, and the end result is going to be a boundary 4 that tilts the balance back in favour of Scotland.
Yeah, again, that's 20 runs that I've counted so far that has gone off the edge. Very fine for 4. So, it's 20 runs that you call them very fortunate runs.
Dockrell needs to get out of this over somehow. Skews off the outside edge towards Craig Young, who takes the catch. So McLeod's stay at the crease will be a short one. That wicket will just bring Ireland back into the game again. We're seeing the ebb and flow of a classic international challenge between the two Scottish and Irish sides here.
Brilliant wicket for Ireland there. Again, George Dockrell, he's got, he's thinking, he's clever, he's bowling it off stump, nice and full, and top edge then for McLeod, and nicely caught there by Craig Young. Good piece of cricket from an Irish point of view.
Yeah, Callum McLeod's going to be replaced by Oliver Hares, who has shown shades of the power hitting that he can give to this Scottish lineup. I just wonder, will Scotland be ruining the fact they didn't send Callum McLeod in at number 3? It's not his natural game to hit from the very off. They tried to gamble and send in Michael Leask at 3. It didn't quite work. He got 7 off 7. Richie Barrington played a very fine hand, 76 off 43. But Callum McLeod's gone for 5. And that's going to bring the big man Oliver Hares to the crease in his second incarnation as an international cricketer. He returns to the side after a gap of 9 years between internationals, but his little cameo against the Dutch yesterday, 25 off just 13 deliveries. Yeah. Sorry, Garfield, you can see the umpires just confirming you're not going to be on strike, Oliver. The batsman did cross.
Yeah, they certainly did cross, and Alan Neil doesn't let that one go by, and gets that one right. So just one ball to go from George Dockrell. Wicket would be nice.
Looks for the reverse scoop. Big appeal. Given not out, but it's going to end up with a dot ball. It's all happening out there. It's going to say dot ball in the scorecard. He was looking for the reverse scoop shot. I think he might have actually ended up making contact with Gary Wilson's gloves with the bat. So after 18 overs, it's 166 for 4.
Getting a further 21 runs from 2 overs.
Harry? No? Leave it, just leave it. So 2 overs remain. There are the bowling figures. Garfield, you're the captain. Who's going to bowl your final 2?
Thanks for that one, Andrew. Thanks for that one. Certainly Mark Adair has to definitely bowl one of those overs.
Well, that's the easy part of the question.
That's the easy part.
Who's going to bowl the final over?
I'm going to lean on Shane Gatgat. With Gary Wilson standing up at the stumps, I'll be going for Shane Gatgat, bowling round the wicket to the right-handers and bowling over the wicket to the left-hander.
Yeah, I suppose Ireland have the added complication because Oliver Hares is left-handed and he's going to have the short leg side boundary to hit into. It doesn't really matter which end that Adair was going to bowl his final over of his allocation from. They're trying to protect the big side of the ground, but with the left-hander being able to hit across to that short leg side boundary, a really difficult task here for Mark Adair. 21 to win off 12.
Difficult task indeed, but again, Ollie Ayres hasn't faced the ball yet, and I don't care who you are, you do need a couple of balls, siders, to get the feel of it and to get your eye in. So if Mark Adair can keep this down to singles or take a wicket, I wouldn't mind seeing the old Yorker come out right away here. Ireland will be very, very much in this game.
Mark Adair looks for the Yorker, but he can only end up with a full toss. What a catch!
What a
Absolutely
catch!
Outstanding from Simi Singh. He dove full length to his left. He clung on. It's that little hill, up the hill towards the tree. It was a low full toss. Looked like it was 6 off the bat, but Singh sprinted, dived full length and held on despite the impact on the ground. That swings the game again. Ireland back in it.
Very much so. What a brilliant catch there from Simi Singh. He's had a difficult day with the ball. He only got one over and got a little bit of tap, but he's made up for it there. That's a fantastic catch. At no stage did it look like he was going to make that, but he's dove full length and caught it just before it hit the ground. Brilliant catch.
Yeah, I just wonder, was that very close to being a no ball as well? It wasn't really a low full toss, it was a mid-high full toss. But perhaps the fact it was just dipping towards the end of the delivery wouldn't have gone above the waist height of the standing position of the batsman, which is what the square leg umpire indicated.
Yeah.
Back to Rizwan Akram. But what a catch, one of the sparkling moments of the entire week.
Absolutely, and what a time to do it, with only 11 balls to go. And Scotland now obviously need 21 runs off 11 balls, so it's 2 runs a ball. And another new batter in. But it's Matthew Cross on strike, and this will be key here to keep, what Ireland don't want at this stage now is a boundary, So let's see if we can get it into the block hole and keep it down to a single.
Shadows lengthening across the beautiful Malahide Cricket Ground pitch here as we head towards nearly 5 o'clock local time, 4:45, and over the course of the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to decide the winner of this GS Holding T20I Tri-Series. 21 to win off 11 deliveries. Full toss again, heaved into the deep. I wonder, will the umpires look at each other? The end result could well just be a single here, remarkably. Again, that's got to be very close to a no ball.
That looked like a no ball from here, but again, the umpires, they haven't got anything wrong today. They've been very, very good, and they've let Mark Adair away with that one. And how that didn't go for 4 is beyond me. Great piece of fielding out there.
Yeah, good teamwork in the deep from Shane Getgate and George Dockrell. Getgate was the one that I think palmed it back in to Dockrell, who got the throw in, and remarkably, a waist-high full toss ends up with only a single after a previous waist-high full toss taking a wicket.
It's the old tag team there out in the deep between the two guys. Great piece of fielding. Again, saving 3 runs, 3 valuable runs. And Mark Adair now having a chat to see where he's going to bowl this next delivery.
20 to win off 10, exactly 2 a ball required. The new man to the crease is Craig Wallace, who had a very tough day with the gloves. He can only get that one away for a single. So Ireland perhaps ahead of the game now for the first time. 19 to win off 9, more than 2 a ball needed.
Yeah, lovely delivery from Mark Adair. Low full toss is very difficult to hit, and certainly that's the length that we'd like to see him bowl. Hopefully he'll do that for the remainder of the over. He's got his third man and his fine leg up in the circle, so that suggests that he is going to be bowling that sort of length with his last couple of deliveries.
You have to say that Adair's been fortunate. Both of those opening deliveries from this over could have easily been signalled no balls, but he's got the benefit of the doubt. He's got the rub of the green. Slower ball heaved into the deep. That's the bigger side of the ground. They're going to have to try and run hard for 2. Lorcan Tucker so fast on his feet. Restricts that to just a single. 4 deliveries gone in this over. Just 3 runs. Ireland moving really into the ascendancy now. 18 to win off 8, Garfield.
This Irish crowd starting to get a wee bit excited now, Andrew. Definitely game on. Slower ball delivery there from Mark Adair. He's rolled his fingers across that, dug it into the pitch, and deceived the batter with his lack of pace. And 4 great balls so far for Ireland.
It's really good for me to see as well is Kevin O'Brien at mid-off, right next to the bowler. He's coming over to Mark Adair every ball, using all his experience, passing it on. Slower ball hit into the offside where David Delaney will do the fielding, and he'll just barely throw that into Wilson because it will be another single. Singles aren't enough for Scotland. 17 to win off 7 now.
Yeah, certainly advantage Ireland, but again, 1 boundary here changes everything. So 1 ball to go here from Mark in this over, and he'll be looking for a dot ball or certainly at the very worst a single.
Can he get out of this over, Mark Adair? Just 4 runs coming from it so far on the wicket. He can, because that one angles into the pads. They'll probably try and come back for 2. Mark Adair picks up, but plenty of time to get back for 2. Even a direct hit would have seen them home. I think they'll be signalled leg boys. They will. What an outstanding over from Mark Adair. 4 runs off the bat, 6 runs in total. Means Scotland are going to need 15 to win off the final over. But remember, Garfield, we have a problem for Ireland. Who is going to bowl this final over?
Well, it will. I don't think I would be bowling any of my slower bowlers at this stage because with that short boundary, I just feel that would be too easy to clear the boundary if they get it out of the middle of the bat. So they're having a management meeting there in the middle. It's like a board meeting. Gary Wilson's in there
Yeah, it's the Cricket Ireland Brains Trust there. You can see it. All the most experienced cricketers. That's Kevin O'Brien, George Dockrell, Gary Wilson, the captain, alongside Andrew Balbirnie. They can't decide who they want to bowl it. There's even the option, of course, of going to Kevin O'Brien himself. Would it be his first over of the week? It would be the 8th bowler used. Is Shane Getgate going to draw the short straw?
Well, Shane Getgate would be my man. But there's hats going on, there's hats coming off. There's guys with their back to the captain, maybe hoping they're not asked to bowl the over.
Well, Shane Getgate is the chosen one. He's going to have the responsibility to defend this total for Ireland and give them the first title they would have had in a long time. I was speaking to Chris Siddle, the Irish manager, before the start of the match, and he was saying he hasn't won many trophies in his time as Irish manager. The famous treble back in 2013, where Ireland held the Intercontinental Cup, the World Cup qualifiers, which was the World Cricket League Championship, and the ICC World T20 qualifier. They had the treble, but they haven't had much silverware in recent years, so he really wanted to win today to take this GS Holding T20I trophy. And for Ireland to do that, they're going to have to defend 13 or 14 or less runs. 14 will give us a tie. 13 or less will give Ireland the win. 15 or more is going to give Scotland the win. Huge pressure on Shane Getgate early in his international career.
Very much, Shane. But listen, he's a shrewd operator. Shane, he knows what he's doing. I'm sure Kevin O'Brien will be in his ear, letting him know where the ball should be bowled. It's interesting, at the minute it looks like he's still going to be bowling over the wicket, which to the right-hander for me is a wee bit strange at this stage.
Here we go, Shane Getgate for the final over of the match. Looks for the reverse scoop shot. That's a dot ball. Not sure if that was a good option from Wallace. He's only faced 2 deliveries. Third man is in the circle, so if he could have got bat on that, it probably would have run away for 4.
Great delivery from Shane Getgate, and again, you know, new batter in, Wallace just in, and he's trying the reverse the reverse scoop. Very difficult shot to play, even if you're on 50 or 60, but to do it in your second ball, difficult option.
It's brought about a change in the field. Third man goes back, mid-off comes up into the circle, and interestingly, Getgate is now coming over the wicket instead of around the wicket. In this over, he was expensive in his solitary over of the match so far. When he came around the wicket, Barrington was very harsh on him, hitting him for a 6 and a 4. 15 to win off 5. Powered down the ground, mid-off and mid-on are in the circle, and that one's going to run away for a boundary 4. It keeps Scotland alive. 11 to win off 4. That's in the slot from Shane Getgate.
Yes, unfortunately it's just a good length delivery in the slot. Long mid-on and mid-off are inside the circle. There's nobody back, and for that length of delivery that he's just bowled, it's unfortunately 4 runs.
Yeah, it's a very interesting field because both third man and fine leg were back outside the circle, and we're going to see a change in the field again because Craig Young is going to come up into the circle at third man, and Andy Balbirnie will go back that long on. 11 to win off 4 now. Power down the ground, stopped with his right boot like a good footballer by Shane Getgate. He'll keep it to just a single. So it's going to be 10 to win off 3. Matthew Cross has batted through this entire innings. Can he get Scotland over the line?
Great comeback there from Shane Getgate. Saves himself 3 runs there, because if that had beat him, I'm not sure that George Dockrell would have got a cross there to stop that. So listen, this is shaping up very nicely. Andrew, are we in for the super over?
I called it quite a while ago. I called it 5 or 6 overs to you, Garfield. I said all 3 results still possible. A reminder that if we end up with 9 runs from these 3 deliveries, we will have a super over. It's a full T20 international here, of course. 10 to win off 3. Scotland need a boundary. And it's going to be a boundary they'll get, because that's going to fly all the way for 6. It was a low full toss. That puts Scotland back on top. They need 4 to win off the final 2 deliveries. Swung away powerfully by Cross into the leg side. It clears the rope. It's a maximum 6.
Yes, Shane has just got that one slightly wrong, and he's paid the penalty. Low full toss on leg stumper just outside. It just helped along over the boundary for 6 runs. Now big advantage back in Scotland's favour. 2 balls to go, and they need 4 to win.
Yeah, just looking at our numbers in the background, over 60,000 people concurrently watching it us right now. Huge numbers. Thank you for your support all around the world.
Great entertainment they're getting on it.
4 to win off 2 deliveries. The entire series comes down to this. Inside edge has come off the bat, and we're going to have a single. You can see Alan Neil clearly indicate it's hit the inside edge onto the pad of Matthew Cross. Let's have a look at the replay.
Great delivery again from Shane Gatgat right in the block hole. Just the inside edge saves him there from a absolute stone dead LBW.
Gary Wilson up to Shane Getgate again. They're discussing their final delivery. Just to explain the situation here, it's 3 to win for Scotland off the final delivery. So an all-run 3, a boundary 4 or a boundary 6 will give Scotland the win, and they will take the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series crown. However, a wicket, a dot or a single will give Ireland the win. However, if we have a 2, a quickly run 2 into the deep, we will have a super over. We'll do it all over again. Just like the World Cup final earlier this year. Great tension, great drama building here.
Big chance for Shane Gatgat here to be the hero of the day.
Final ball, it all comes down to Scotland need 3 to win. Looks for the scoop shot, doesn't get it. They're going to have to try and run 2. The first one sprinted, the second one comes back. Wilson takes off the bails. Ireland are going to win this series and win by 1 run. They had to come back for the second. An interesting choice of shot from Wallace. He didn't get any bat on it. Cross got back for 2, but because Wallace wasn't able to, really clever cricket, Getgate tossed it to Wilson. Wilson takes off the bails. There's no third umpire needed there. And what that means is that Ireland are the champions of the GS Holding T20I series.
What a great delivery from Shane Gatgat, and then he follows it up. He runs, fields the ball, and then tag teams Gary Wilson, who runs the Scottish batsman out by at least half the length of the pitch. Great win from Ireland when it looked as if they were really, really up against it. Good one to be pulled out of the fire.
Yeah, what an interesting choice of shot from Craig Wallace. I'm not sure why he looked for the scoop. Surely if he could get it into the deep on the offside, he'd have got at least 2 and taken it to that super over. And Scotland are distraught. Wallace and Cross can't quite believe it. Cross is going to be the man who ends up 66 not out. Wallace was the one run out, and the end result of all of that is that Ireland win by 1 run.
1 run. What a game of cricket. 2 great teams who flat out with each other here today. Absolutely, the Irish team absolutely delighted, because I have to say the last 4 or 5 overs there, they looked behind the 8 ball, but they've pulled it out. Great bowling from Shane Gatgat, great bowling from David Delaney, and Mark Adair's final over really did put the tin hat on it and brought us right back into the game.
Yeah, nerves of steel from Shane Getgate. You thought when he was swung away for that 6 off the 4th delivery of the over by Matthew Cross that was the end of the game. But really good nerves from him to come back. Nice signs there, good camaraderie. Gary Wilson, you see the handshakes on your screen, leading his side off, giving a big pat on the back to Matthew Cross. And spare a thought for him, he's carried his bat through the innings, but Scotland are going to end up coming out on the losing side.
Yes, he'll be very disappointed, obviously, and the Scottish team will be very disappointed. But listen, there's a lot of positives there for both teams today. And Shane Gatgat, again, I like that type of bowling at this stage in the game where the wicketkeeper standing up means the batter really can't go down the pitch, and he's got it absolutely on the button. Yorked him right in on his feet, and he can't get it away, and they're not able to scramble the 2 runs that they needed for the super over. Andrew, you're absolutely right, mind you. Wrong choice of shot at this stage. They should have kept their options open for 2 instead of going for the 4, and they've paid the price, unfortunately. But a great game from Scotland as well.
Yeah, that's the Scottish batting card there. Matthew Cross 66 not out. Top scorer Richie Barrington 76 off 43. He was the real star of the show today. Cross could just never quite find the momentum he needed, but you saw how difficult it was for the other batsmen today. All single figure scores, and Craig Wallace is going to have a few sleepless nights coming up thinking about that final choice of shot that he played to that final delivery.
Yes, if he was to do it again, I'm sure he would choose a different type of shot. but it just shows you, Andrew, that how difficult it is for batters to come in right from the word go and hit boundaries, hit 4s or 6s. Scotland have struggled here towards the end of this innings. Ireland in the first innings were in a great position, and then last 4 or 5 overs really stalled again, the same as they did the other day. So it's something that both teams will have to work on when they get to the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, there's the Irish bowling figures. 7 bowlers used, and 2 of them bowling just an over each. Simi Singh and Gareth Delaney both not having their best day with the ball, but some really good stuff from David Delaney in particular, probably the star with the ball. Mark Adair as well, holding his nerve, perhaps a bit fortunate with some of those low waist high full tosses. And Garfield, it's not too often you bowl 2 overs, none for 26, and you're the hero with the ball, but I think that's the case today for Shane Getgate.
Absolutely. I mean, he had really drawn the short straw there, and it's a real art being a death bowler at this stage of the game. And he has done it beautifully. So well done, Shane Getgate. Well done, Gary Wilson. And well done, Graham Ford. That obviously all this planned out. So a super victory from Ireland. Craig Young as well really excelled today. Delighted for him and for cricket up in the Northwest. He's put his hands up today, and he's give certainly the Irish selectors a big headache over the next 24 hours.
That's the points table on your screen there, and that confirms that Ireland are the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series champions. They end with 2 wins, 1 loss, and that no result against the Netherlands on the Sunday when we had that torrential rain. But we've had glorious weather since, an Indian summer in North Dublin, and the home crowd is going home happy. That Irish side, who I was just talking with you about, Garfield, who haven't won many trophies since back in 2013. Perhaps is this the dawning of a new era for Irish cricket?
Well, we certainly hope so. It's a very young Irish side. It's the start of a new era, and I have to say there's a few guys here today over the last week really have put their hand up, and I mean David Delaney, absolute fantastic prospect. Harry Tector, what a great game he had on Wednesday. So bright future ahead for Ireland.
There's the match summary, and only one thing really matters on that screen. It's the fact that Ireland win by 1 run and take the title here this week. Kevin O'Brien 63, the innings of the day, probably Richie Barrington 76 off 43 balls, but really good signs for this Irish side and the Scottish side indeed. Some real star performers this week. We'll find out who'll be named player of the series coming up. Keep an eye on Ireland Cricket's Twitter account to find out who's won that. But for us, after a brilliant week of cricket in Malahide, from everyone at Cricket Ireland TV and HBV Studios who've brought you these pictures, we're going to bid you adieu. So for me, Andrew Leonard, Garfield Harrison to my left, John Kenny, Alan Lewis, Pieter Seelaar, and everyone you've heard from, Baz, Tim, David, and all the team here, we want to pay a huge thank you to you for listening throughout the week and watching. We're going to leave you with the news that Ireland have won by 1 run, and they are the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series champions.